You know, every single day, whether you realize it or not, your home is fighting a quiet, constant war. On one side, you've got your HVAC system doing its absolute best to keep you comfortable. And on the other, well, that's the full force of Mother Nature. In this explainer, we are going to give you the playbook to make sure your home comes out on top. Oh, and we have all been there, right? It's the hottest day of the summer and that cool air just stops. Or it's a freezing winter night and all you feel is this cold draft blowing from the vents. It's that sinking feeling in your stomach, that exact moment you know something has gone terribly, terribly wrong. And when that happens, it's not just about being a little uncomfortable. Suddenly it's about safety, it's about stress, and it's about a sudden, unexpected bill. Yep, your home's most critical system has just surrendered. So how do we get smarter about these failures so we can prevent them? To figure that out, we're going to zoom in on a very specific battlefield. Raytown, Missouri. Now, by looking at a place with some of the most demanding, most punishing climate conditions out there, we can really understand the universal pressures that all of our homes are facing, no matter where we live. I mean, the sheer range of the fight here is just incredible. We're talking about summers that regularly blast past 95 degrees, and with that oppressive humidity, it feels like it's over 105. Then, just a few months later, you get these polar vortex events that can plunge those same temperatures way, way below zero. That kind of wild swing is just brutal on any machine. And the climate's arsenal, well, it's diverse and it is relentless. It isn't just about the heat and the cold. You've got the constant stress of freeze-thaw cycles, which are always expanding and contracting materials. You've got severe spring storms that bring hail and high winds. And you even have this localized humidity from nearby rivers that adds a whole other layer of corrosive attack. So how does this constant assault actually translate into a real mechanical failure? Let's get in there and dissect the anatomy of a breakdown. Let's see what gives out first. Okay, first up, the capacitor. Think of this little guy as the component that gives your AC's motors the jolt they need to get started. Now, during those long, brutal heat waves, it is working overtime, storing and discharging electricity again and again. The intense heat just cooks the materials inside, and eventually, it just gives up. The result? Your AC unit goes completely silent. Total shutdown. Now, on the winter side of things, we have something that is far more dangerous, a cracked heat exchanger. After years and years of those extreme temperature swings, the metal in your furnace can get these tiny little fractures, and this is so, so critical. The heat exchanger is the only thing separating the fire in your furnace from the air in your home. Even a tiny crack can leak deadly, odorless carbon monoxide. And finally, there's just good old blunt force trauma. Spring storms can physically beat up your outdoor unit. Hail will dent all those delicate fins, which chokes its ability to release heat. High winds can turn branches and other debris into projectiles, causing catastrophic damage. Okay, so the system is down. The worst has happened. What's the difference between a stressful, multi-day nightmare and a swift, effective solution? Well, it all comes down to the professional's playbook. See, a top-tier response isn't about chaos. It's a calm, methodical process that's designed for speed and for clarity. It kicks off with an immediate dispatch, then it moves to a transparent diagnosis that you can actually understand, and then all ends with rigorous testing to make sure the fix is going to stick. In an emergency, speed is absolutely everything. When it's 100 degrees in your house, or maybe 40 degrees inside, tomorrow is just not an option. The standard should be a technician dispatched immediately, with the goal of being at your door within 60 minutes. And I don't care what time of day it is, 24/7. But of course, speed is useless without preparation. An expert shows up with a warehouse on wheels. Their truck should be loaded with thousands of dollars in parts, and not just the common stuff like capacitors and fan motors, but the specific control boards for the most common models in your area. The whole goal is a single visit fix. And the final piece of the puzzle is true expertise. Look, this isn't just about swapping a part. A real pro uses modern tools to find the root cause of the problem. Then they explain it to you in plain English, no confusing jargon, and give you a clear upfront price before any work begins. No surprises, just solutions. But look, fixing emergencies is really only half the battle. Winning the war means getting out of that stressful cycle completely. So let's talk about how to build a real long-term strategy for victory. It really boils down to these two mindsets. You can live in a reactive cycle, just waiting around for the next costly, stressful breakdown to happen,
Or you can adopt a proactive strategy, using regular maintenance to stop those failures before they ever get a chance to start.
And the data here? Well, it makes the choice incredibly clear. Without regular maintenance, a system that's fighting a tough climate might only last you 10 to 12 years. But with professional tune-ups, you can stretch that life to 15, maybe even 20 years. That's almost doubling the return on your investment. It's a no-brainer. And here is something most homeowners just don't realize. Long-term reliability actually starts on day one. This quote says it all. Cheap installation creates expensive problems. You can have the best, most expensive equipment in the world, but if it's installed improperly, you are setting yourself up for a decade of issues. Quality work is the foundation of a long system life. Period. So, to wrap this all up, let's turn this knowledge into some real action. Here's a quick checklist of questions you should be asking about your own system right now to stay ahead of the game. All right, first up, the air filter. In a place like Raytown, with all that pollen and humidity, every 3 months is just not going to cut it. During the spring and summer, you really should be checking it every couple of weeks and probably replacing it every 30 to 60 days. A clogged filter is the #1 cause of stress on your system. Have you ever seen ice on your AC unit? That's a frozen coil, and it is a major red flag that you have restricted airflow. Before you do anything else, before you even pick up the phone, the first step is always the simplest one. Check that air filter. Seriously, 9 times out of 10, a dirty filter is the culprit. And for safety, you absolutely have to know the warning signs of a cracked heat exchanger. Are you noticing weird smells when the heat kicks on? Maybe some soot built up? Is the frame in your furnace yellow and flickering instead of a nice, steady blue? These are urgent signs that you need a professional inspection immediately. Don't wait. So what's the game plan? It's simple. 1. Know your enemy. Understand your climate-specific attacks. 2. Play offense, not defense, by prioritizing maintenance. 3. When you do need help, demand the best. Speed, preparation, and expertise. And 4, remember that a quality installation will pay for itself over and over again in the long run. And that brings us to our final question. The elements are always out there, gearing up for their next assault. The next heat wave, the next cold snap is just around the corner. So after everything we've covered, take a second and really think about it. Is your home truly ready for its next battle?